You're listening to the Vibrant Life Podcast, Episode 9. The Vibrant Life. Hey you, I'm Emily Romrell, and this is the Vibrant Life Podcast. I'm genuinely happy you're spending a few minutes with me today. It's a surreal thing to be a podcaster. I love creating the content each week, and I feel like it probably helps me more than anyone else to remember my purpose and live my own vibrant life. But I'm sending these messages out into the void, hoping that they'll reach someone. And then there's you. And I may or may not know you personally, but I do feel like I know you anyway. And we're connected in this magical way through technology. So whoever you are and wherever you may be, I want you to know that you're important and you make a difference. The world needs you, and I hope that we can make the world a better place by living vibrant lives together. If you enjoy the podcast, a review on iTunes would be so awesome, guys. I'm trying to reach as many people as possible, and taking a few minutes to show your appreciation in the form of a review helps so much. So thank you for doing that. Today, we're discussing one of my all-time favorite things about life, creativity. This is a big topic, but it's critical to living your best life. You know, society likes to sort people into groups and label them. You've got white-collar and blue-collar people. We're divided into high, low, and middle class. We're divided by race and cultural backgrounds, and I really don't like that at all. There's so many different parts that make up a person, and I don't like putting limits on people. One of these groups that we're usually put into when very young is we're either artistic and creative or practical and logical. This biases society into thinking that creative people are impractical and irresponsible, and that non-creative people are rigid and non-expressive. Lies. Here's the truth. Every single human on the planet is creative. We just have different ways of showing it. Have you ever heard the expression that someone, maybe even you, is not the brightest crayon in the box? That can be a reference to intelligence, but it has artistic tones. If you're thinking you're a dull crayon, then this is the episode for you. One of my all-time favorite personal development books is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. He has a whole series of books that discuss wisdom found in his culture of the Toltecs. The Toltecs were amazing artists and sculptors, and they left wonderful monuments and statues that are really awe-inspiring. The name Toltec actually means artist. But the thing that I love is that in his books, Ruiz teaches us that every human is an artist. The dream of your life is to make beautiful art. And later he asks, if you can see yourself as an artist, and you see that your life is your own creation, then why not create the most beautiful story for yourself? It's a great question. Do you realize that you are creating your life every day through your choices and actions? Your life is the biggest and most important artwork of all. But besides the metaphysical aspect of creating your life, creativity is critical in living a fulfilling life. A great article that I recommend reading is What is Creativity and Why Do You Need It? By Casey Spencer. I found the article on cornerstone.edu. This article covers why creativity is so important to all of us, and in it the author explains, creativity drives us not only to create, but to innovate. Consider all of the minds behind what it took to give us the smartphone of today. Thousands of individuals, from the coders to the marketers to the app developers, conspired to bring something into existence that once was unimaginable. Not only does it have a significant impact on their lives, but as one of the greatest single developments of any century, the smartphone has profoundly impacted the day-to-day life of every person who owns one. Okay, famed psychologist, I'm going to try on this name. It's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I'm sorry, it's like a Czech name and it's really hard, but there's this psychologist who identified the mental state of flow. And he wrote a book, and it's called Creativity, Flow, and the Psychology of Discovery and Invention. A leading theorist in the positive mental state, he describes creativity as a central source of meaning in our lives. Most of the things that are interesting, important, and human are the results of creativity. And when we are involved in it, we feel that we are living more fully than during the rest of life. As evidenced by our example of the smartphone, creativity applies to more than just a student sitting in an art class. Creativity is about doing meaningful and fulfilling activities. This goes far beyond traditional creative activities such as painting or writing. So that was from the article I had mentioned earlier. Then, moving on, there's the pure joy and the need in our souls to create. I know I'm quoting a lot of other people in this podcast, but these sources are so good, and I'd rather give you the message from them rather than summarize it and take some of that magic away. These people have in fact used their own creativity when delivering their messages in their words, and I'm being somewhat creative in my choice of delivery as well, but the credit all goes to the original speakers. In his wonderful talk, Happiness, Your Heritage, Dieter F. Uchtdorf tells us why we feel the need for creativity so strongly. The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. No matter our talents, education, backgrounds, or abilities, we each have an inherent wish to create something that did not exist before. Everyone can create. You don't need money, position, or influence in order to create something of substance or beauty. Creation brings deep satisfaction and fulfillment. We develop ourselves and others when we take unorganized matter into our hands and mold it into something of beauty. And I'm not talking about the process of cleaning the rooms of your teenage children. You might say, I'm not the creative type. When I sing, I'm always a half tone above or below the note. I cannot draw a line without a ruler. And the only practical use for my homemade bread is as a paperweight or as a doorstop. If that is how you feel, think again. And remember that you are spirit daughters of the most creative being in the universe. Isn't it remarkable to think that your very spirits are fashioned by an endlessly creative and eternally compassionate God? Think about it. Your spirit body is a masterpiece, created with a beauty, function, and capacity beyond imagination. But to what end were we created? We were created with the express purpose and potential of experiencing a fullness of joy. Our birthright and the purpose of our great voyage on this earth is to seek and experience eternal happiness. And one of the ways we find this is by creating things. If you are a mother, you participate with God in His work of creation, not only by providing physical bodies for your children, but also by teaching and nurturing them. If you are not a mother now, the creative talents you develop will prepare you for that day in this life or the next. You may think you don't have talents, but that's a false assumption, for we all have talents and gifts, every one of us. The bounds of creativity extend far beyond the limits of a canvas or a sheet of paper, and do not require a brush, a pen, or the keys of a piano. Creation means bringing into existence something that did not exist before. Colorful gardens, harmonious homes, family memories, flowing laughter. What you create doesn't have to be perfect. So what if the eggs are greasy or the toast is burned? Don't let fear of failure discourage you. Don't let the voice of critics paralyze you, whether that voice comes from the outside or the inside. If you still feel incapable of creating, start small. Try to see how many smiles you can create. Write a letter of appreciation. Learn a new skill. Identify a space and beautify it. Nearly a century and a half ago, President Brigham Young spoke to the saints of his day. There is a great work for the saints to do, he said. Progress and improve upon and make beautiful everything around you. Cultivate the earth and cultivate your minds. Build cities, adorn your habitations, make gardens, orchards, and vineyards, and render the earth so pleasant that when you look upon your labors, you may do so with pleasure, and that the angels may delight to come and visit your beautiful locations. In the meantime, continually seek to adorn your minds with all the graces of the Spirit of Christ. The more you trust and rely on the Spirit, the greater your capacity to create. That is your opportunity in this life and your destiny in the life to come. Sisters, trust and rely on the Spirit. As you take the normal opportunities of your daily life and create something of beauty and helpfulness, you improve not only the world around you, but also the world within you. Okay, so that's all, President Uchtdorf. Again, I know I did a lot of reading today, but I felt like I really wanted to share these specific words from these specific authors. And I was totally getting the feels when I was reading that last part to you guys. So I hope you can feel that too. The last thing I want to mention is that it's fun to create new skills and create something new. Whether it's something traditional, like a form of writing, music, dance, or creating a piece of art, or something like coding a new app, being creative in how you hold your work meetings, or how you decide to organize the furniture in your home. There is a pure form of joy that comes with creativity that can't be found anywhere else. Even if you don't care about the personal development side of creativity, you should do it for fun. Sometimes we get so caught up in all of the things we should do or have to do, and it's important to remember to do things in the moment for the joy of that moment. I want to leave you with a challenge this week to find some time to create. Find something meaningful to you and make it happen. Your life will be more vibrant if you do. Have a great week, peeps.